Jedi training Leia is going to be our next conquest unit, and it's not going to be too long until her conquest is in the game. So I've decided to take a look through the actual feats that are required to give you an idea of some of the teams that you need to be focusing on in order to get her in that first conquest unlock. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the tribe, to another Galaxy of Heroes video with me, your bald boy Scribe. How the devil are we all doing? Let's just make sure we grab some of this here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be talking about Conquest. Conquest is the game mode that allows us to unlock some of the most powerful units in the game, and we have just finished doing the unlock for Cobb Vanth, and he is a GL destroying machine. He's awesome. He's great fun. Our next one is going to be Jedi training Leia, and she is looking to be absolutely phenomenal for Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. The Galactic Legend is getting a lifter finally at last, and I am here for it, baby. I'm absolutely here for it. So Conquest is going to be starting in just over a week's time, I believe. Should be on not this Monday coming, but the Monday after, and it will run for 2 weeks. If you are able to get the red box, the final box on hard mode of that 3 times running, so it'll take you 3 months to get the unlock on the quickest timescale, you will get yourself Jedi training Leia. I have a video guide, it's a little bit outdated now, on how to, the basics of Conquest and how to do it. If you want to check that out, I do recommend it. It is up here in the top left corner. All right, so we have had the feats for this upcoming conquest. It's already been data mined. The people on the Xaereth Prevails Discord server have already got it all together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through those feats, and I'm going to show you some of the teams that I've earmarked to get them done in as quick a way as possible. And this is that list. Now, you will be able to find this particular table in all of its glory on my Discord server, but it's also available on many other Discord servers, including the Xaereth Prevails Discord server, which I highly recommend you people at home become a part of. It has got great resources of information. So starting with Sector 1, we need to gain Retaliate 15 times, gain at least 100 buffs, attempt to inflict 300 damage over time effects on enemies with abilities, win 10 battles with the KX security droid surviving. These are the feats that you need to do as you are progressing over those 22 nodes in Sector 1. The mini-boss over here, you need to win with Bam and Bo-Katan Kryze surviving. This is Kryze, not Bo-Katan Mandalore, but obviously I highly recommend you throw these guys in under Bam. And then just win with Cobb Vanth in your squad. Now, obviously, if you did not get Cobb Vanth unlocked in your last round of Conquest, it is okay. All right, you're only missing out on 2 key cards, and usually you can miss out about 34 key cards across the entire Conquest, so that you do not have to worry about doing those feats, and you'll still be able to get your red box. All right, so if you didn't unlock Cobb, don't worry about it. It's only worth 2. It's fine, you can absorb that loss. Next up, we need to win with a full squad of ISB and win the battle with no tanks in your squad. Now, unfortunately, pretty much every mini-boss and boss feat here, you cannot double dip. Okay, pretty much all of them. This is the only one that you could technically do it. Sector 1 mini-boss. You can do Bam with Cobb in the team. If you've got lots of relic levels, you will probably stomp it. So let's go over to my game now. I'm just going to show you some of the teams that I've put together that I'm going to be using to get this done. So Sector 1, Retaliate. So Retaliate, there aren't loads and loads of units that have Retaliate as part of it, as part of their kit. It's not a massively broad ability, but there are some. If you want really easy wins, you can go in with the Supreme Leader Kylo Ren team, and I believe it is, the first special from Rey Darkside Vision. She is able to pass Retaliate and Retribution for 2 turns whenever she uses that second special. Obviously, that's not going to get your feat done in one battle, but it'll give you something. If you're just progressing, just do it. It will also really easily make that gain 100 buff feats for this sector very doable. You're going to do that anyway, but this team gains so much advantage all the flipping time, and various other stats, Kylo Ren's taunting and stuff like that. I recommend going in with General Hux and First Order Officer. General Hux will be able to reset the cooldowns in Darkside Vision Rey. So you'll be able to take a turn with her, use her first special, swap the turn back with General Hux to Darkside Vision Rey, and then you'll be able to use it again. So you'll get essentially 10 uses of Retaliate there. Now, obviously, your Hux is probably going to be faster than your Darkside Vision Rey because he gains bonus turn meter at the start of battle and stuff like that. But hey, if that first time you use Hux you don't do anything too drastic, you should be in a good position. So Retaliate actually features on 2 characters in this team, apologies. So the ISB faction is going to be a good one. First one over here is Authority is Brittle. If you see rank 2 and above, ISB allies are going to gain Retaliate for 2 turns and 5% tenacity stacking. So if you use that second special from him, if he is rank 2 or above, he's going to pass Retaliate to all his allies. Not only that, Dead Ramiro over here, she is going to boop-a-da-boop-a-da-boo. She deals additional damage and gains Retaliate. There you go. But that's only if the enemy is exposed at the start of her turn. Now, you can get that with things, if you happen to find like a blindside data disc, whenever you attack out of turn with that, it's going to place exposes on the enemy. And this team already generates exposes. It's not like you don't have it, right? But if you've got that blindside data disc, it'll just make it that much easier. So you can just use basics with the skill, provided they have exposes on the enemy team. Extra Retaliate there, not too bad. Now, obviously, I understand. ISB, it's a pretty new team. A lot of people are not going to have levels and levels of investment over here. Rey Darkside Vision, she is also a conquest unit. Not everybody is going to have Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, so that might make that a little bit difficult. Next one doesn't really make it that much easier, I'll be honest, but Asajj Ventress does have Retaliate as well, and Great Mothers will destroy everything. So over here, if Asajj Ventress is essentially, if she uses a basic when it's not her turn, so when she gets mass assisting, that sort of thing, or she counterattacks, she's going to get Retaliate. The good thing is, on the Great Mother's team, you could just bless her. So if you bless Asajj Ventress, Dark Disciple, she is going to assist whenever you use a special ability on any of your allies, right? Which means she's going to be attacking out of turn and getting Retaliate. This team will also dominate. It will destroy pretty much everything because it is the Great Mothers. Great Mothers are a fantastic investment. So Retaliate is a little bit of an iffy squad to get up and running. It's a little bit of a difficult buff to get, but if you have the teams, it's not so bad. If you don't have any of those guys, Gungans can actually get Retaliate as well with Gungan Phalanx. His second special is able to do it. The only problem is it only really applies to himself, and it is a 4-turn cooldown, and he's a tank, so he's not going to be the fastest. It's not an ideal situation, but if you literally have nothing else, maybe you'll be okay using Gungan Phalanx. And finally, the last one I'm going to be going with here is Quigoat. Quigoat is a little bit of an oddball. I mean, apart from his looks, his little peg leg, his mini Rancor looking face, and all that good business, he is able to get Retaliate. I can't remember which ability it's on. This could be it. Yeah, so at the end of each of his turns, if Quigoat is taunting, he's going to gain a stack of Retaliate, up to 5 stacks, for every 2 stacks of profit for 1 turn, which can't be copied. So he's able to get it just organically, provided he is taunting at the start of his turn. So you could use him with Mars, you could use him with Pirate King Hondo, you could even use him with Thano. The pirates now, these guys are about to be available for Lightspeed tokens. Soon as CG updates it, it's probably not going to be for maximum be 3 months. So we might end up missing out on it, but he does gain it, and he gains a decent amount of it. So maybe Quigold is an option for you guys if you don't have anything else for the Retaliate section. All right, moving swiftly on. Dots. The easiest way to get dots, ladies and gentlemen. You need to get 300 of them. Use Tuscans versus anything that gains a boatload of turn meter. I don't know if the enemy teams have changed. The comps have changed. Not sure just yet on if any of that has changed in Conquest for this round. But usually anything like Imperial Troopers, General Grievous, the best bet is if there is a team with Candorous Ordo in it, he's ideal mechanic to drive it, because whenever they gain turn meter, they are essentially gaining damage over time. So if you see something like an Old Republic Carth lead, or if you see just Candorous in literally any team, throw your Tuscans in against it and it's going to be fine. If you do not have Tuscans, go in with like a Lord Vader lead with Darth Vader, or a Darth Vader lead with Lord Vader in it. Lots and 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 lots of dots, okay? But those are the teams that I would use, all right? Finally, the last one is winning 10 battles with KX Security Droid. Now, we did talk about this a little bit beforehand. You need to get Retaliates, so, you know, Partigaz, Dead Ramiro are going to be there. You need to get 10 wins with the KX Security Droid. You could skip this if you wanted. It's worth 5 data discs if you do not have a level of investment with him. If you can't, or you have low level of investment with him, you just have to throw him in a team that's going to power through. So you could take out KX Security Droid, throw him on like a Lord Vader team or something like that, or a Reva team. Something like that. That will help you with the global feats to be getting Purge, as well as, obviously, getting your wins with KX2. Next up, the mini-boss. We need to win with the Mandalorian and Bo-Katan Kryze, which is this one down here. So I'm just going to take in standard Bo-Katan Mandalore. If you can't do this, go with a BAM lead, throw in Han, Chewie, Dash Rendar, and then Bo-Katan Kryze. That has a lot of turn meter gains, a lot of damage output. You should be able to get that one done. The only thing I've done here is I've also thrown in Cobb Vanth. If you have Cobb Vanth, you can throw him in this team with Bo-Katan. You will probably win regardless, okay? Especially if you've got high levels of relic investment, like I kind of do on this team. I suppose R9 on Cobb is good, R8 on Bo-Katan Mandalore and BAM is good, R7's on the bow, and the Paz Vizsla not so great, but I'm confident enough that we'll be able to power through that team. So finally, we also need to use a full squad of ISB, and this is the only squad that will make this work at the end of the sector for an extra 3 points. You could also completely skip it. Then you do need to do it once again with no tanks. Obviously, KX is a tank. You cannot do a full ISB. This is all the ISB tags. You can't do full ISB and also no tanks. Until we see what the boss is, not sure, but I'm sure we can come up with a team that will do no tanks. All right, for the boss. Moving on, Sector 2, what have we got? Here are our Sector 2 feats then, ladies and gentlemen. We need to win 10 battles with Dark Trooper Moff Gideon in the squad. Not too bad if you have him. Attempt to inflict critical chance down 100 times. There's a pretty good cheese for that. I wouldn't be too worried about it. Win 10 battles with no attackers. There are quite a lot of decent no attacker squads at this point. Attempt to expose enemies 20 times. It's only 20. There are quite a few exposed sources. If you're using ISB, for example, there's a lot of exposers. If you're using Rebel Fighters, lots of exposers, that sort of thing. Then mid-boss, we need to win with Darth Vader Duel's End in the squad. Just in the squad, doesn't matter, he doesn't have to survive, just needs to be there. And then you need to win without using any Empire. Obviously, these two are conflicting feats, thank you CG, so you're going to have to double dip over here. End sector boss, win with only using Stranger, and then win with Stormtrooper Luke surviving. Obviously, once again, you can't double dip here. Stranger is a past conquest unit. He might be difficult for some people to get done. Let's look at the teams I'll put together. Sector 2. So first of all, DTMG. I'm double dipping here, doing DTMG with no attackers on the squad. So I'm taking in Darth Trooper Moff Gideon. I'm taking in Captain Enoch. He provides a lot of crit avoidance to the team, good survivability. Scout Trooper, really great tech, able to call assists, able to cleanse, able to do lots of good stuff. OG Moff Gideon lowers the damage output for the enemy, gives us additional control with AoE daisies, puts out armor shreds, mass assists, that sort of thing. And then we just need one final Imperial Remnant, that's not an attacker. I chose to go full OG Stormtrooper, just because. Now there's not loads and loads of damage in here, so we're probably going to be dependent on having data disk to support us, but I'm confident that we can get through this and get a good chunk of the no attackers and no losses, wins with Darth Trooper Moff Gideon. Next up, crit chance down. Padawan Obi-Wan's Omicron, really useful. As long as he's got 50% or more stamina on his self with that Omicron, he's able to place crit chance down. It's on over here. Nobility and Restraint. If you see all the way over here, whenever an ally uses a special ability, they inflict accuracy and critical chance down. There you go. As long as he's got over 50% stamina, every single special attack that anybody in this team does is going to inflict critical chance down. So crack on with that. Now, if not, funnily enough, Geonosians. Sun Fac over here is able to do it. I believe it's in his Hive Tactics. He's got a 50% counter chance whenever he attacks outside of his turn. He has 25% potency and inflicts critical chance down for 2 turns. You can cheese this. You can use this as a cheese against something like, if there's a crew node, like Kylo Ren and Mast, and he can keep his health up, you could send in your Geonosians. If they're not particularly strong, mine aren't particularly strong, look at them, none of them are above Relic 5. It's kind of pathetic really, but Geos are kind of terrible in my opinion. Anyway, as long as he's attacking out of turn, which that's kind of what Geos do, they are a swarm mechanic team, he will be able to put quite a lot of crit chance down out on the field. So that's another one. Okay, next up, we've also got a no attacker team that can put crit chance down with Shore Trooper over here, using General Veers. Okay, so Imperial Troopers, all right? If you use Wat Tambor with Imperial Troopers, start the battle, Wat Tambor is going to get 100% turn meter, and you can use this binary basic ability. If you use this, you're going to apply heal over time twice to all allies for 2 turns. That essentially is giving them 2 buffs on everybody. When you get buffs in an Imperial Trooper team, you gain turn meter, so you're basically going to start the battle with a turn meter train. Then you just need to kill things. Shore Trooper on his basic has a 70% chance to inflict critical chance down, so it's just kind of double dipping. No attackers also getting some of that crit chance down, also getting some wins. Also, if you defeat enemies with this team, you're going to be gaining offense up, which we need for the global feats, so it all kind of rolls into one. Piet also can pass offense up to all allies as well. So lots of little moving parts in this team that kind of work. So mid-sector boss, then we need to win with Darth Vader Dual Zend as part of the team. I think he's a fantastic unit. Invest as much as you can in him. So I'm just using a standard EP Mara Jade Darth Vader Dual Zend team over here to get that ball rolling. I threw in Thrawn because I like the turn meter control, I like the fracture, that sort of business. Sector 2 end boss, I'm just throwing in Stranger. Until I see what those bosses are, you know, I don't really know, but there's the other feats that we need to do for them. They're going to be easy enough. We'll tackle them in our video guides when we get them done. Finally, another no attacker squad. I really like having Night Sisters for that. They're all support types, so if we have something like a Zealous Ambition as a data disk, these guys are going to fly, all right? Basically, all of them are either healers or support types. They're able to dominate. You're just, if we've got Zealous Ambition data disks, which I don't know, can't confirm we have just yet, they are really good for a no attacker team. If not, if you've got something like JML with a bunch of Jedi, as long as they are not attacker types, you could even, well, actually you can't throw in Padawan Obi-Wan, he is an attacker type, unfortunately. We'll be able to, you'll be able to win with JML. You know, using inherited teachings, calling in people to assist, you'll be able to do all your damage based on his max protection. All right, let's take a look at Sector 3. Here is Sector 3. We need to gain Overcharge 20 times. This is only on like 2 units in the entire game. So, like, there's no way around it. Overcharge is a really restrictive buff, I guess we'd call it. But it's available on KX Security Droid, and it's available on STAP. So unless you have those units, you're going to have to sacrifice this one. Win at least 20 battles without losing units. I'm not going to give you specific teams for this. Hopefully you'll be able to do this as you go through. Note there are 22 battles in each sector, so you kind of have to be very clean throughout the entire thing. Attempt to stun enemies 50 times. Plenty of things can do stuns. We'll figure that one out. Gain Jedi lessons 25 times. Now, this one isn't super common, but it's becoming more and more common as the game develops. Lots more. If you've got JML, this is going to be super easy. Next up, mini-boss. Win with only dark side characters or win with Cinta Kaz. Cinta Kaz being from the last era of Andor, and if you don't have her, you're going to have to skip it most likely. Everybody should have her. Probably at least at Gear 12, so you should be able to get it to survive. Next up, the end sector boss. You need to win with Satil Shan surviving, who was the last conquest unit. Oh no, Cobb Vanth was. She was the one before that. She's a great unit. I'm sure it'll be easy to do that. And then finally, win without using Jedi, Sith, or Unaligned Force users. Usually you can get away with using like a GG team or a Separatist team or a Django team. Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt, that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, let's look at some of the teams that we've got for this one. So, Overcharge. KX Security Droid is our man over here in the ISB faction. Like I said, there are only 2 people that gain Overcharge. So, I believe it's Chain of Command. That's it. If KX is critically hit, he gains a stack of Overcharge and inflicts defense down on the attacking enemy for 2 turns. So basically, he's a tank. If he gets crit, he's going to get Overcharge. Probably the easiest source of Overcharge. We do need to gain it 20 times. So he just needs to be crit 20 times. You need to get some ISB wins in anyway. If you don't have KX at any sort of reasonable level, your only other option is STAP, and unfortunately STAP has only got it on the we need to recharge the overcharge, right? The good thing about it is every time you use this ability, you are going to gain 5 stacks of overcharge. So straight away, you'd only need to do this 4 times, right? It's got a cooldown of 4, it's the second special. So just try to make sure you get round to a turn with STAP. Maybe remod your STAP to be stupidly fast. STAP has got a massively high base speed. Only reason I got garbage mods on STAPs is because Separatist droids suck. Alright, they just do. They've had their time in the sun, and occasionally they'll come back with a Datacron. Like currently we've got a Droideka Datacron that's semi-decent. They might show their heads up. He's even got a GAC army and it's still not that special. So STAP is your other option. Try to get it going. I'm sure we'll figure out a cheese for that. Jedi Lessons. Jedi Lessons. Okay, so it's not a super broad buff that exists in the game, but it does exist in a few forms. First of all, Huge Wang over here. Huge Wang. I believe it's on his unique. I think it's at the start of battle. Let me just check over here. At the start of battle, Jedi allies gain all this stuff. If the ally in the leader slot is Spectre and a Galactic Legend at the start of battle, all allied Jedi, Ahsoka Tano's, Padawan Sabine Wren will gain Jedi lessons for 3 turns at the start of their first turn. If they had Jedi lessons whenever Hu Yang gains any version of History of the Galaxy, the duration is reset for 3 turns. That will double dip it. So obviously History of the Galaxy is a little bit tricky to get done. You'll need to essentially get rid of exile pretty much immediately on a character. Now, it's really quick and easy to do that. With Ezra, you'll just use that, unique ability that Glatt's leadership gives them. Get rid of exile on 2 units and reset the Jedi's lessons and all that sort of good business. So you'll be able to get it, but you are going to have to do it several times. I say several times, a couple of times, right? You might be able to get this in one. If not, the other and original, very easy source of Jedi lessons is through JML's leadership, all right? He gets this ability called Inherited Teachings, which is, we call it the coin ability, right? And whenever you use that ability and call a Jedi ally to assist, they are going to get a stack of Jedi lessons, okay? And that will stack up to 3 times. If you try and apply Jedi lessons to somebody that already has 3 stacks of Jedi lessons, they're not going to gain it again, so you are going to have to spread it throughout your team. Everybody will get this ability, so you'll be able to cycle through and pass it around. He'll be the easiest source of getting that done, all right? You'll also be able to get stuns with this team. So for example, Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, when he uses his lightsaber defense or whatever it is, that has a chance to stun. Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker over here, he's got that AoE repulse mass stun. And then Ayla Secura, whenever she crits, she's going to stun. So you can use Jedi lessons to constantly call Ayla to assist and stun people and stun people and stun people and stun people and stun people. And then you can use Hermit Yoda and place Master's Training on her and she'll stun people. And then, you can cast turns back and forth. You'll be able to get Jedi lessons and stuns together by using this team. Using this team throughout the sector will probably largely get it done, all right? You need to stun enemies 50 times. So that's like 10 uses of repulse on a full team. Like I said, you've got Ayla constantly, as long as she's attacking out of turn, she's also got a high counterattack chance as well. She'll be able to stun plenty provided she is critting, and then you've got Cal Kestis as well. You could swap out Hermit Yoda and throw in someone like Revan. Revan will stun on a second special as well. You've also got ability to swap turns with people to reset cooldowns a little bit easier. Don't forget, when JML also ults, he resets the cooldowns of his allies, so you'll be able to get more stuns out of people like Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, because his repulse has got a large cooldown, which is rather obnoxious. But there we go. Mid-sector boss, another really good team for stuns, by the way, I should put this in right now. Really good team for stuns is going to be Empire, okay? So if you go in with Emperor Palpatine, Mara Jade, Royal Guard, definitely take in Royal Guard, and I suppose we could take in Darth Vader Duel's End. Mara Jade can stun on that first special, but she puts out Tenacity down to the whole team, and she gains a boatload of turn meter. Throw out her second special, you'll shock everybody, you'll probably stagger everybody, generate loads of turn meter. Palpatine AoE stuns. You'll be able to stun with Thrawn whenever the enemy has got ability block and he uses his basic, and whenever Royal Guard attacks with the basic, provided the enemy has got, provided Royal Guard has got more than 50% hit points, he will also stun the enemy with that basic. So lots of options in this team for stuns, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we've got plenty of options. You could even drop Darth Vader Duel's End and throw in Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker just to get some stuns if you really wanted to. Mid-sector boss, we are going to be going in with a full Cassian undercover team because we need Cinta Kaz to survive. Now, if you do not have Cassian undercover, you can just throw in Cinta Kaz with any sort of team that's going to win out the gate. You could just throw her in with your CLS Rebels, your Jedi Knight Luke, not Jedi Knight Luke, your Rebel GL in Leia Organa, for example. You could even throw her under JML. He can protect her, throw Wat Tambor in the team to force the taunt onto JML. Lots and lots of options. I'll have a full guide once Conquest is out. End sector boss, I'm going in with Satele Shan, full standard team over here. This team will get plenty of stuns. You've got stuns on Jedi Knight Revan, you've got stuns on Satele, you've got stuns on Bastila, and you've got stuns on Juhani. There's lots of stuns on this team. You'll be able to do stuns, and you'll be able to win with Satele Shan surviving. If you need to win without using a Jedi, Sith, unaligned force user, that sort of thing, I always recommend people use Jabba the Hutt if they have him. If not, using something like General Grievous will usually get the job done. Alrighty, let's take a look at Sector 4. So, Sector 4, we need to gain Rebel Network 15 times. This one's a little bit awkward because only one unit in the game does Rebel Network, and that is Player Marquee. Next up, win 10 battles with a full squad of light side Mandalorians. You can only really do one team with this. There's not enough to split 2 entire teams into Mandos, but you could just, you know... essentially, we've got 9 Mandalorians, light side Mandalorians right now. There will be many more, obviously, at the end of this era, but we're not there yet. So, please, I hope you've got Bo-Katan Mandalore. Next, gain defense up 80 times. This is incredibly cheesable. Lots of good teams for this. Attempt to blind enemies 80 times. We can usually also cheese this one, depending on what teams are in Conquest. I'll have a guide for that. Then, mini-boss, we need to win with Maul hate-fueled. Now, obviously, a lot of people did unlock him. He doesn't need to survive, so you should be able to get this done. Hopefully, you've got a 4-star or a 5-star unlock at the very least for Maul hate-fueled. And then you need to win without using any attacker units on your squad. I will come up with the team for this when the game is out, when Conquest is out. Final boss, win with Yoda and Chewie. Unfortunately, they do need to survive. And then win with a full squad of Bad Batch. You're going to have a much better chance with New Batch. They are available via Lightspeed tokens now, so that should be good. All right, let's look at the teams. We're going to start off Rebel Network. Unfortunately, it's only on Claire Marquee. Now, if you don't have Cassian Andor, go ahead, throw it in with any Rebel fighter squad. She'll do great with Saw, she'll do great with Mon Mothma, okay? Just throw in that standard squad. You don't need Cinta, you don't need Val. Hopefully you've got Luthen. Go like Mon Mothma with Kyle Katarn, maybe Hoth Rebel Scout. Throw in Claire, throw in Luthen, you'll have a good time. Similar team with using Saw Gerrera instead. Now, it's on her second special. This is do or die. When she uses this, as you can see over here, inflict ability blocked on all enemies for 2 turns, can't be dispelled, evaded, or resisted. All Rebel fighter allies gain Rebel Network until the end of the encounter, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Now, we do unfortunately need to do this quite a few times in order to finish off this feat. 15 times. If you're using Mon Mothma, if you have the summoned unit, then you're going to get an extra thing, and Luthen as well, obviously. You'll re-get the one you'll miss for Mon Mothma, because Mon Mothma's not a Rebel fighter, so she won't get it. In a Saw Gerrera team, you could get 6 per use, but either way, you're going to have to use this 3 times with, at least 3 times with a full squad, basically. It sucks if you don't have any investment in your Claire. It really does. There's no way around this. Next up, full light side Mandos. I'm just going for standard Bo-Katan Mandalore over here. If you don't have Bo-Katan Mandalore, you're probably better off going for a BAM lead, and you could throw in Armorer or something like that. Armorer's got a decent enough lead. Bo-Katan Kryze has got a decent enough lead. Her leadership, OG Bo-Katan Kryze, does actually have an ability to pass defense up, which is also a feat in this sector, but it's not an ideal way of getting defense up, in my opinion. The easiest way of getting defense up, and blind in this instance, is Clone Wars Chewbacca's leadership. Okay, this is really dumb. You can cheese this so heavily. All allies have 50 defense and 50% chance to gain defense up for 3 turns whenever they are damaged. If you use this team against anything that attacks you a lot, best targets are going to be like a Mon Mothma team. You could throw Clone Wars Chewbacca in with like Barriss Offee and just a bunch of survivable light side units, and just lose the battle. Just let it go, and you will get all 80 of your defense up straight away. Now, I'm using a team here that's also got blind in Yoda and Chewie, not Yoda and Chewie, in 3PO and Chewie. I'm sorry, backpack versions of Chewbacca. They look all the same to me, all right? You know, make with that what you will. So we can actually blind here, and we've actually got some synergy. You know, we've got Tarful in the team as well, and that sort of thing. This will get you defense up, and it will get you at least some of the blinds, all right? Now, if you're looking for a blind cheese, you can use CLS. I'm also throwing in old Ben here for defense up, because he's able to apply it on his second special. It's a bit slow, but if you find a Separatist team that has got Jango Fett in there somewhere, but not in the leadership, he's going to immediately have his payout activated. He's going to have damage immunity. So you can control the TM on that guy, keep him completely locked down, and just spam your blinds. You could just go full auto against Jango, and provided you are not letting him gain turns, and you've got a data disk set up to support it, either stripping their turn meter or gaining you a bunch of turn meter. I haven't seen the data disks yet. You should be able to cheese blind and defense down with 3PO and Chewie over here. Next up, mid-sector boss. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to win with Maul Hate Fueled, so I'm just using a standard Stranger team. Barisofi over here, she's also doing a good amount of defense up. Okay, her second special, I say her second special, her second ability, this passes defense up to all allies. Okay, I think it does, anyway. Yes, it does. Defense up. There you go. Each ally gains defense up for 2 turns. So it's just another source. You'll easily win the battle, but you've also got some defense up going over there. I think Cal might be able to do it as well. End sector boss. We need to win with Yoda and Chewie surviving. Tarful is going to be the optimal team here. However, if you don't have Tarful invested, Yoda and Chewie does count as a Jedi unit. You can throw him in a JML squad, and that will still save the day. You could also go JML squad with Old Ben and Barisofi and maybe Grandmaster Yoda. Then you've got multiple sources of defense up on the team that your Grandmaster Yoda will be able to spread to the rest of the team, you know, in case you don't want to be using this cheesy defense up. That's going to give you like multiple sources of defense up and being able to spread the buffs again with GMY to give yourselves everything that you need and also keep Yoda and Chewie alive and kicking. Amazing. Let's talk about Sector 5. The final sector of the lot. We need to gain tactical supremacy 25 times. This isn't actually that bad anymore. It used to be. There are a couple of units that get it now. We also need to win 10 battles with Boba Fett and Jango Fett in the squad. This is a little bit irksome more than anything because it's a late sector and you can't you could use this in a Hutt Cartel team with Jabba the Hutt, but then you'd lose a lot of the benefits because Jango Fett is not a Hutt Cartel unit, so you need to go standard bounty hunters, and that complicates matters a little bit. We also need to attempt to inflict buff disruption 30 times. There is only one unit in the game that can do this, and that is Stormtrooper Luke, which is a little bit annoying because he can only do it when he basics during his turn. I'm sure we will be fine with this, but it's just a little bit frustrating, a little bit of a grindy feat. Next, we need to gain potency up 50 times. This is actually super easy. Mini boss, we need to win with Cassian undercover in the squad. So if you didn't unlock him, you are out of luck. You need to open up your wallet and wail harder. I was going to say scroll harder there for some reason. I don't know where that's coming from. And we also need to win with a full squad of Galactic Republic surviving, which should be fine because Galactic Republic is one of the most diverse, powerful factions in this game. Final boss, we need to win with Rey Jedi Training surviving. If you've got GL Rey, that should be fine. And win with a full squad of Inquisitors surviving. Now, we don't know what the feat is yet, or the battle is, but we'll find out and I'll do guides for it soon. Anyway, let's look at the teams. So, Sector 5, Tactical Supremacy. Tarkin has got Tactical Supremacy. You could use this with a clone team. If you want to, just use Dark Side clones with Tarkin, be my guest. The reason I'm using Palpatine over here is because we're going to gain some more turn meter. When he uses Intimidation tactics over here, Empire allies gain tactical supremacy for 2 turns, which can't be copied. Alright? It also gives him a bunch of turn meter, and he's only got a cooldown of 3. If we're using this with Thrawn, you can go ahead and pass the turn back around. You can even get rid of Darth Vader Duel's End over here, and throw in someone like Traya. Traya's second special, Isolate, can reduce the cooldowns on Grand Moff Tarkin, so you'll be able to constantly reduce those cooldowns, and get him to use it lots and lots of times, and spread all that tactical supremacy. The only other person, not the only other person, one of the other people that have got it is Trench over here. I think it's on his unique. I might be wrong with that. Is it over here on his leadership? Ah, no, it's on his special. So essentially when he does that first special, which is a cooldown of 3, non-droid separatist allies are going to gain tactical supremacy for 2 turns, which can't be copied. You can cycle around quite a lot. Trench gets a lot of bonus turn meter as well, so you should be able to do it pretty easy with Trench if you have investment in him. Not a lot of people do. Not a lot of people do because they hate Trench, but Trench is actually pretty good in TW, so another source of it there. Next up, Partygasm of the ISB. He does have tactical supremacy as well. Is it in his leadership? I can't recall. Ah, there we are. It is on his special over here. Authority is brittle. If he's got rank 3, when he uses this, ISB allies gain tactical supremacy for 2 turns. So he's obviously not an ideal candidate for tactical supremacy, but he is one of them. The best bet is probably going to be Trench, or it's going to be Banoffee Pie, alright? Boba Fett and Jango, this is going to come down to how deep your roster is. I'm going in with Zuckuss for Forlorn and Asajj Ventress, Jango and Boba. You could certainly go in with some of the more classical things, like having a Bossk lead with Greef and Mando, Boba and Jango. I'm sure there'll be some way we can get that done. I think this one is mostly going to be data disk dependent, and the battles that we find during the sector. This one might be a little bit awkward, depending how invested your bounty hunters are. Next up, buff disruption with Stormtrooper Luke. This is a bit of a pain. Okay, he just does it on his basic over here. So if it's Stormtrooper's Luke turn, inflict the enemy with buff disruption for 1 turn, high damage variance. Now, you could just throw him inside of like a CLS team, and we could probably cheese it that way against like a Separatist-led Jango Fett team. Something like that, but I'm just going to go in with the standard team over here. Old Ben and R2-D2 for like some level of, synergy over here. Old Ben also does that potency up on his basic, so there's a little bit of synergy there. This is not an ideal team, obviously, because as you can see, my relic levels are kind of garbage for this. So another way of getting potency up, a really, really easy way of getting potency up, in fact, is going to be the JML team here. And it's a bit of a weird one. We're using Kit Fisto, Old Ben, Padawan Obi-Wan with his Omicron, and Grandmaster Yoda. So, Kit Fisto, in case you didn't know, first special over here is one of the only sources of potency up to allies, and it's for 3 turns. So you can use Kit Fisto's first special, give everybody potency up, then Grandmaster Yoda can go ahead and spread it with Battle Meditation, giving you essentially 10 uses of potency up in one team. Old Ben, if you need any more potency up, whenever he does a basic, so if you use Inherited Teachings, the coin ability from JML on him, he's going to gain potency up. Alright, pretty nifty, pretty swifty. Over here as well, with Padawan Obi-Wan on his Omicron, whenever Padawan Obi-Wan uses a special ability, allies gain accuracy up, crit chance up, potency up. So whenever he uses a special ability, everybody's going to gain potency up. And then Grandmaster Yoda, like I said, can spread it, which will pass more potency up. Oh, no, actually, it's only when he uses special abilities. So anyway, this JML team, really, really easy source of potency up. If you have nothing else, just JML and Old Ben should be able to get it done for a large case of people. Because every time you call in Old Ben, potency up, potency up, potency up, potency up. It's not too bad. Next, mid-sector boss, we got to have Cassian Andor, so we're just going to use a standard Cassian Andor team here just to knock it out. Mid-sector boss 2, we also need to win with, what was it? I can't remember now. Oh, a full squad of Galactic Republic. I've just chosen to use Queen Amidala here because of Padawan Obi-Wan's Omicron, giving us, all that additional potency up and stuff. But honestly, you could use Gas, you could use JMK, you could use Queen Amidala, you could use Bad Batch. There's loads of choices for Galactic Republic. I'm sure you will find something. End sector boss, I've gone in with Rey, Ben, Jedi training Rey because she needs to survive. I'm throwing in Commander Ahsoka Tano here and Cal Kestis. You could drop Cal Kestis for Barriss Offee or any sort of survivability based character, but Commander Ahsoka Tano is here to pass boatloads of additional stats to the team, and you're just going to have some fun. I'm sure this will be fine, but we'll find out when we get to that boss. And apart from that, we are using Inquisitors. We need a full team of Inquisitors. Reva is the best leadership for Inquisitor by a country mile. It's not even close. Throw in GI, 7th Sister for heals, Inquisitor Barriss for more heals, and 5th Brother for a little bit of dispelling action and stunning action and all that good business. That should get that done. Alright, the only thing we need to look at now is the global feats, ladies and gentlemen. So, global feats. Attempt to inflict Purge 300 times. Purge is a source of debuff that you get from Inquisitors. That last team, Reva, she just puts out, I want to say 6 stacks of Purge to the entire... If you've got Reva and GI, she puts 6 stacks of Purge on everybody that starts a battle. And you put loads more as the battle goes on. Just use Reva. Reva lead if you have Reva. If you don't have Reva, use your best Inquisitors and you'll still get it done. It just might take a little bit longer. With Reva lead, it'll be done in like 3 battles. Gain offense up 500 times. Now this one's a little bit weird. There are so many sources of offense up. Like so many. I think that as you go through all of these sectors, you will just organically get this, but I will come up with a cheese team for it. Defeat 50 enemies with Rebel Fighter units. If you haven't noticed, as we are going through these sectors, there's a lot of times where we're using stuff like Cassian Andor, where we're using Luthen, where we're using Vel, all these sorts of things. Getting loads and loads of Rebel Fighter victories. So this shouldn't be too hard to get done. 250 enemies on the Golden Challenge path. Everybody should be trying to go on the Golden Challenge path for pretty much the entirety of Conquest. It doesn't take long to get this one done. Then we need to attempt to inflict Undermine 50 times across all sectors. We're already using ISB quite a bit. They do Undermine. And we're using the Rebel Fighters, Claire, Vel, Cassian Andor Underground. Underground? We're going underground. No, not underground, undercover. These are the only units that apply undermine. So if you've got Cassian, it's going to be a heck of a lot easier. If you've got some ISB investment, it's going to be easier. And that is actually giving you access to the Booming Voice data disk, which you need for the next feat, all right? Which is just equip Booming Voice and win some battles. About as easy as it gets. Then we've got win 20 battles with Vel Sartha in your squad, and that gives you deployable cooling systems. All right, so Vel, we need to get loads of kills with Rebel fighters anyway. Hopefully you've got some investment, and hopefully you've got Cassian Andor. If not, you just need to be throwing her into feats, into teams, you know, and trying to get her to survive. But that kind of double dips with Rebel fighter kills. That's going to get you deployable cooling systems, which will get you the next one, which is just use deployable cooling systems as a consumable. Now, I will note that if you get the Conquest Pass Plus, it gives you deployable cooling systems and Booming Voice. So it saves you from having to do the Undermine feat and the Vel Sartha feat. If you do not have all the Conquest units in the game, you're missing quite a few of them. That Conquest Pass Plus is actually really valuable because it gives you an extra run of Proving Grounds. Not only that, it lets you swap data disks for free. I don't normally buy that. I don't, because I don't need any of the Proving Grounds units. I get Conquest units the first time round. I buy it usually for the first time of each Conquest, whenever we get a new Conquest, so that I can freely swap data disks without spending energy, and it gives you a little bit more energy recovery and stamina recovery, making your life easier. So if you are really, really struggling for those two feats, but you are a whale and you don't mind spending a bit more, maybe consider getting the Conquest Pass Plus, because it will scratch these two off right at the start, and it will give you a bunch of extra stuff as well. The last one is 3 battles with Princess Leia, Kylo Ren, and Han Solo in your squad. This gives you 0 key cards. It just gives you a title called Family United, because titles. Yeah, you can do that if you want. Let's see what teams I put together here. So, Purge, Reva. If you don't have Reva, Grand Inquisitor lead. If you don't have Grand Inquisitor, cry. Mostly cry. Then you need Rebel Fighters. So this does Rebel Fighters, does Undermine, and gets Vel victories. Standard Cassian Andor team. You'll be using this quite a bit throughout the Conquest, so hopefully it'll tick over. If you do not have Cassian Andor and you still need Rebel Fighter kills, go in with Mon Mothma, Pow, Kyle Katarn, Hoth Rebel Scout, Luthen Rail. This is not an ideal team, but this will still get Rebel Fighter kills for you. If you don't have that, you can go in with the Saw Gerrera team, Luthen, Kyle, Chirrut, and Baze. If you don't have Luthen, drop Luthen out, take in any other Rebel Fighter that's going to do you any sort of good stuff. It could be Pow, it could be, can't think of the top of my head, like C-Rex, for example. There's quite a few options for Rebel Fighters, but those are your like main Rebel Fighter teams, generally speaking. Undermine, you've also got ISB. There aren't many people. Now, they apply it to themselves. I'm pretty sure that still counts because the feat doesn't necessarily state apply it to the enemy. It just says attempt to apply Undermine. So I'm hoping that ISB still gets this done. And then family, I just threw in a Stormtrooper Luke, Princess Leia, Kylo Ren, Han Solo, Chewbacca. Honestly, just go like Sector 1, but if you really want this feat, it doesn't give you anything outside of a title. Just take Princess Leia, Kylo Ren, and Han Solo together as a team under the strongest team that you can find. You could even throw that 3 under Reva and Grand Inquisitor, and you'd get Purge and that. If it's Sector 1 and you've got good relic levels and you've got good data discs at the end of Conquest, should be an easy 3 battles farming the bonus node. Cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for this long video today. Hopefully it was useful to you. I will be putting out guides for each and every sector, going through how to get every feat done in as efficient a way as possible. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Make sure you turn on the notifications so that you'll see when that video comes out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you all in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.